The market for mid-range phones is a booming section. Most of us usually consider buying phones that are a little over 25,000 rupees and stays within the margin of rupees 30,000. It is a very populated price range as there are plenty of great options which can confuse you to a great extent. On our previous video, we have already talked about some of the best phones that you can buy under rupees 30,000. And in this one, we'll be talking about the newcomers in this segment, the Galaxy J7 Max and the Gionee A1. So without further ado, let's see which is a better phone in different prospects. Let's begin the battle of these phones, starting off with the display. Here both the phones sports a 1080p panel and both looks great in their own aspect. But comparing them side by side, the Gionee A1's IPS display certainly takes the crown here. The deep blacks and high contrast from the Gionee A1's display looks absolutely amazing. The J7 Max on the other hand has soft colors and I found the whites on the display somewhat yellowish. Also, another thing to consider about the display of J7 Max is it doesn't come with any sort of protection, while the Gionee A1 comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Despite Gionee A1 having a larger 4010 mAh battery compared to the J7 Max 3300 mAh battery, the backup from both of these phones were almost very similar. Both the phone provided around 4.5 hours to 5 hours of screen on time during my time of usage. But when it comes to charging, the Gionee A1's fast charging capability totally dusts the Galaxy J7 Max. Gionee A1 takes 1.5 hours to charge this massive battery, while smaller battery of the J7 Max takes more than 2.5 hours. So if you want a good amount of screen on time along with fast charging, then the Gionee A1 is the way to go. A1 and J7 Max both have distinct aesthetics. A1 closely resembles the OnePlus 3 from the front, while the J7 Max carries a generic Samsung look. The J7 Max has a larger screen size of 5.7 inches, but the footprint of the device is very similar to that of the Gionee A1 with 5.5-inch screen. Also, while carrying the phone, the properly curved edges of the J7 Max helps to handle the device better than the A1. When it comes to the feeling of the phone, the J7 Max is comparatively lighter and the polished aluminum finish feels much premium than that of the Gionee A1. When it comes to performance, both the phones are equipped with MediaTek's chipset. The Gionee A1 sports Helio P10 chipset and the J7 Max sports a slightly powerful Helio P20 chipset. Comparing both these phones, I found navigation around the UI smoother on the Gionee A1, as the J7 Max feels jittery. While on the overall app opening speed and performance, the J7 Max has a slight edge. Both the phones don't handle high-end games too well, and both the phones heat up significantly while gaming for a longer period, but the Gionee A1 seems to be slightly hotter in most of the cases. Both the phone comes with a skinned version of Android 7.0 Nougat. Samsung's TouchWiz UI is cleaner and visually appealing, but is somewhat laggy at times. The A1's UI on the other hand is like of any typical Chinese OEM with no app drawer. Heading down to the features, the fingerprint on both the phone is fast, but when compared side by side, the Gionee A1's fingerprint sensor is much faster at unlocking the device. The J7 sensor can quickly open the camera with double tap, while the swipe on the A1's can bring out your important apps. But as a disadvantage, you cannot change the lock screen wallpaper on A1, and swipe up from the bottom scrolls your content while bringing forth the quick access bar. So liking or disliking the UI of the phone entirely depends upon the users. The biggest battle of these phones is certainly in the camera department. Gionee markets the phone as a super selfie phone, while the Samsung's camera has always usually been good. So first let's start off with the front camera of these phones. The Gionee A1 sports a 16 megapixel camera, while the J7 Max sports 13 megapixel camera. And the term, the higher megapixel count doesn't mean a better camera, is true to life here. The images taken from the J7 Max are considerably better as its f1.9 lens take in more light. So let's just say Gionee A1 has lost the selfie game when compared to the Galaxy J7 Max. Heading on to the primary camera of these devices, both the phones come with a 13 megapixel camera, but the J7 Max has a wider f1.7 aperture. Putting the camera to test, the images from J7 Max has far better dynamic range. The colors are both natural and vibrant as well. While zooming in, the J7 Max also preserves more details in the images. Even in low light, the images from J7 Max are significantly better, while the A1 had lots of noise and looked dark. So with wider aperture and better color reproduction, the Galaxy J7 Max takes the crown of the best camera. Now, audio is something we don't normally test in our comparison, but since the side speakers of J7 Max intrigued us, we decided to give it a try. Testing the sound of both these devices, the J7 was louder compared to the A1. However, the Gionee A1 has a more subtle sound, hence the audio quality is comparatively good on the A1. Also with earphones, the A1 comes with max audio, which makes the listening experience richer compared to the J7 Max. So that's it guys for the comparison of Gionee A1 versus the Galaxy J7 Max. Both the phones have their strengths and weaknesses. So with that, if you want a brilliant display, fast charging and better audio, then go for the Gionee A1. If you are looking for a better build and camera, then J7 Max is the way to go. But performance is something you are after, then we suggest you read our comprehensive article of best phones under 30,000 linked in the description below. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below what you think of the video and make sure you subscribe to our channel.